Okay, so we're going to express one number as a percentage of another, and originally this is recorded for 8y1. So good morning 8y1, welcome to Friday, I am somewhere else, so you are watching this. Anyway, expressing one number as a percentage of another, it's really quite a simple process. We've got a first question here which is express 25 as a percentage of 160, and the first thing I've got to do is obviously turn on our little pen down here. Let's get on to red. First thing I want to show is a proportion. So out of 160, we've got 25 out of 160. Okay, so we just set it up as a fraction. And I could turn that into a decimal, and it would be obviously less than 1, and that would be the proportion that 25 is of 160. But I want it as a percentage, because it says so in the question. So I need to times it by 100. And it is as simple as that. And if I do that, I get the answer. If I turn my trusty calculator on, because you're allowed to use a calculator on these, I get 15.625. And the little graphics pad's not working brilliantly today, but that's going to be 15.6% to one decimal place. Okay, there we go. So let's do another question. Let's just get this move on. Right, there we go. So write 48 out of 240 as a percentage. You notice there's just a subtle difference in the wording here. Just write 48 out of 240 as a percentage, but it's actually exactly the same thing. We're still setting up our fraction as 48 out of 240, and when you're doing your questions in a bit, I don't want any missing out any of the working out. I want all this neatly laid out. And again, to turn it into a percentage, so there's our proportion, to turn it into a percentage, times it by 100. And just do it on the calculator. Do 48 divided by 240, and then times by 100. And once again, I'll get my trusty calculator out. 48 divided by 240, 240, and then my calculator's gone a bit weird. Okay, but that's fine. Times it by 100. And actually, this is a nice rounded 20. So the answer here is 20%. Okay, and don't forget to have your little percentage sign on the end there. Okay, but let's go on to a third one. Now, the third one is just more of a kind of problem, really. It's set up as a worded question. So we've got in a school, 280 students are girls. Okay, right, important bit of information. So I'm going to sit there and box that. 280 are girls. And the remaining 310 are boys. Fair enough. A few more boys than girls. What percentage are the girls? Okay, so it's important that we're after the girls here. Right, first things first, I need to write one number out of another as a fraction. But I'm going to need the total. So actually the total is the thing I need first. The total number of students altogether, which is of course 280 plus 310, which is 590 students in total. So the proportion that are girls are the number of girls, which in this case is 280, out of the total, which is 590. That does say a 5 there, even though the graphics tab's gone a bit funny. It's not my writing, honest. So there's our proportion, and turn it into a percentage. I'll times it by 100. So get your calculator out and do 280 divided by 590, and then times it by 100, and we've got quite a long decimal here, 47.4576, etc. Okay, but I'm only interested in this case, I'm just going to go to one decimal place. So to one decimal place we have 47 point, and obviously this 5 means I need to round up my 4 to a 5. So 47.5%. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. So each time, just set up your fraction, times it by 100, do it in the calculator, and if necessary, round it to one decimal place or whatever it says to do in the question. Don't forget your percentage sign. Okay, good luck.